Hello and welcome back to First Thoughts. I'm Simon, this is Justin, and today we're giving our first thoughts on Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which is of course starring Oscar Isaac, that's his name, Oscar Isaac,
yes,
Jacob
yes.
Elordi, Mia Goth, Christoph Waltz, and is that it? Of the notable people?
Well, that was a movie.
Can't remember his actor's name, but if you've seen Game of Thrones and you've seen Tywin Lannister, he is kind of just Tywin Lannister again, but as Frankenstein's father.
Sure.
It is. I literally didn't recognize him at first, and then I looked away for a second while he was speaking. It all came back, and I'm just sitting there.
Is that Ratatouille moment?
Yes. I'm sitting there listening to him talk to Frankenstein like, oh my god, that's Tywin talking to Jamie or fucking Tyrion.
I just anti-showed my age because what I should have said was like, that's so Raven, but I said Ratatouille. They're both the same effect, but why did I go with the newer thing? I should have said that. Anyway, so yes, Frankenstein. If you don't know what that is, I don't know how to help you. Why are you here? But so this one in particular, like we said, it was directed and written for the screen by Guillermo del Toro. If you don't know who that is, can't help you. But it was made and produced through Netflix, so that's a big deal, and that's why we're so late talking about it.
Darn you, Netflix.
So, yeah, darn you. So, yeah, this movie, as, you know, all Del Toro's movies are very gothic, very elegant. He chose to do a lot of things practically rather than CGI. So we did some research and prep for this. I did. I rewatched actually watched for the first time, believe it or not, the 1931 Frankenstein movie. I had never seen it all the way through, finally did. My only exposure to Frankenstein before this, other than just pop culture, was I've seen many times Young Frankenstein. That's it. Not a big Frankenstein fan, but so I read a good portion of the book and also the Spark Notes, and I watched the OG movie, and then I watched the Guillermo del Toro movie, and boy oh boy do I have opinions, because this one is supposedly much more accurate to the source material than most common Frankenstein movies are, and in a lot of ways it is, but in a lot of ways it is so dramatically different. So we'll get into it. Why is it so different, and is it still good? Let's get it out of the way. First things first. Pros. Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Love him as a director. Don't always love him as a writer. Think some of his writing is iffy, but we're agreeing with source material, so that can help here. Acting. Jacob Elordi blew me away. I wouldn't say I was a hater or anything, but other than him playing Elvis in the Priscilla movie, I wasn't really familiar with him too much. I knew he was on Euphoria, but I don't watch that.
Right.
Because I'm a normal man.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Normal's a strong word, but but I thought he was really good in this. And then Oscar Isaac, I do like. As I hinted at, think it's a bit of a miscast, but he's such a good actor, I can't be mad at it. Although anytime he and Christoph Waltz interacted in the scene together, I'm like, you should be Frankenstein, but that's fine, I guess. And then Mia Goth played two roles I didn't even notice. So she was good, I guess. Was she his mom? Because I couldn't figure out. I knew she was playing two roles, and I never double checked to see what the other role was.
That's actually a good point. I didn't catch that.
So I'm gonna check now who the other role was. Claire Frankenstein. Yeah, so she was the mom. I didn't even notice.
Huh.
So good by her. And then scenery's awesome to look at. Glad they did practical effects whenever they could. There was a lot of practical stuff in there. Like I said, some CGI you can't get away from it. Writing, pretty darn iffy if you ask me. But what do you feel about it?
I wonder if you're saying that from an adaptation standpoint or just from...
Both.
Okay, from both. See, okay, I made the correct decision of not refreshing myself on the story before watching the movie, as I've learned over the years. Seeing the adaptation is always the best route first. I have read Frankenstein before, but we are talking probably close to 15 years now. Getting close, if not 15.
We're old.
Yeah, it's sad. But yeah, it's been about that long. And so, I guess, it's not really a spoiler, is it? Because like Frankenstein's an ancient-ass book.
I don't know what you're going to say.
Frankenstein is told from multiple perspectives.
Oh.
Like the book originally is.
Yeah,
so
because
the movie is too.
The majority of the book is written from the perspective of the captain writing letters based
Yeah.
off of the story Frankenstein's telling him, and then it switches to a second person writing letters, and I forget who that is. And then in the movie they do something similar,
Yeah.
but it's not the exact same thing. It's two different people.
No, but let's say mostly the first part of the movie is Victor's point of view, essentially.
Right, it's Frankenstein's point of view.
And that felt very familiar to me. I'm sure there were some differences in there,
Yeah.
but that part felt very like, oh, every single scene that kept happening for the most part, I kept thinking, oh, I kind of think I remember that from the novel. I kind of think I remember this. Okay. And
well,
then,
okay.
I'm not, again, haven't read it in, 10 plus years.
You're de-aging.
Didn't, I mean, 15 would put me at like
15.
the beginning of high school.
No.
At like 15, I would have been like
15, 16,
a sophomore.
17, 18. Did you graduate high school at 18?
17.
Then yeah. Then you were 14 when you started high school.
Yeah, but 15 makes me like a sophomore.
Okay.
I guess.
Anyway.
And I just turned 15, so whatever. I felt like I remembered a lot of that perspective, even
Sure.
if there were some differences there. The second half of the movie is where I had to question myself from now, and after scanning some of the synopsis, I realized, oh, wow.
There's a lot of changes.
Lots.
Yeah.
They hit some of the major points, and I'm wondering if the ending was similar, because I don't know why I feel like the ending...
The ending was similar in some ways and very different in other ways.
All right, we'll have to get
So
to that,
some
but-
non-spoiler changes we can get out of the way, just so you know what kind of changes we're doing is. So in the book, Frankenstein's brother is like 6 years old. In this, he is an adult man.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty major change to the narrative. Because if you know what happens to the brother in the book, if we're trying to do something similar, it changes the outcome a lot. And then similarly, we changed Elizabeth because actually, depending on the version of the book you read, I think the original version, she is Frankenstein's cousin, and then that became out of date to have him marry his own cousin. So they changed it to adopted sister, which makes it weird in a different way.
Hey, they're not blood related.
No. But in this one, she's instead engaged to his brother, and that's their only connection.
Yeah.
And then, small spoiler here, a love triangle emerges, which is just so not the original plot. So some weird stuff happens there. Naturally, also, this movie not only borrows a lot from the book, it, as much as it is trying to change and not be like every other Frankenstein movie you've seen, it still steals a lot from it, because something as simple as how the monster is created is never stated directly in the book. In the book, how they describe it is Frankenstein got some old bodies and put them together. It doesn't specify how. In this one, it's like, and in every other version, he's stitched together, so they do that same thing. And then it doesn't bring up lightning or any sort of anything to... What it says, literally, in the book is he gives it the spark of life.
Yeah.
That is all it says.
I do feel like at this point, even though the book doesn't say it, the lightning thing is a deeply ingrained adaptation trope now.
That's what I'm saying is like, it's like, oh, it's more accurate. And it is, in a lot of ways, but it is still copying the movies and every other version you've seen. He doesn't have a bolt through his neck, but he's still very similar in a lot of ways. I mean, even the patchwork makeshift model of him. Because the way it described it in the book, if I'm reading it correctly, is he like put the bones together of deceased bodies and then just made the skin. How? I don't know. But he wasn't supposed to be patchwork like that. But everybody expects that now from Frankenstein, so he was.
Yeah.
Something that I don't know that it was touched on in the trailer, so this might also be a slight spoiler, but is not from anything I've ever seen before, and they just randomly decided to do in this, is Frankenstein is Wolverine. Or, sorry, the creature is Wolverine.
Yeah,
He's got a healing factor out like a motherfucker.
Because I remember, not being able to really die, not feeling various feelings
he
and
could
pains.
die.
Well, yeah.
The original creature was super strong, and that was it.
Okay. Very hard to kill.
Sure, because he's super strong.
Yeah.
But if you shot that guy, he's dying.
Yeah, the healing thing was odd.
I thought it was a continuity error when the movie first started because you see, and there's no skin on the one finger. I was like, that's a weird choice. And then the next time you see the hand, there's finger. I'm like, there's finger on the finger. Yep. There's skin on the finger. And I'm like, oh, continuity error? And then I find out a few scenes later, he heals. I'm like, well, that's incredibly silly and stupid. Thanks for changing that. Why did we do that? That's really dumb.
We gotta have him survive a lot.
No, we don't. Anyway.
You can't just chalk it up to super strength that needs a healing factor.
No, we
How
don't.
else is he gonna get shot like 67 times?
We don't need to shoot him. That's the thing.
But
We don't need to do any of that stupid shit.
But people have guns, and he's a monster.
Ah! Yeah, it's going to be really hard to get much further into this without getting into spoilers in a big way. So I'm going to tiptoe a little bit here. I thought they made a lot of oversimplifications to the plot. And I don't mean even just the plot. I mean the commentary and character development. Where what I'll say is I'll spoil the book because I don't feel like that's a spoiler.
Not at this point, I don't feel like.
The book, the point of the book, and why it is classic horror, is Mary Shelley was making a commentary on science, the scientific community. It was very, imagine, if you will, Jurassic Park, saying, like, the whole thing about, like, you were too concerned with figuring out if you could, you forgot to ask if you should.
Right.
That's what Frankenstein, the book, was. It wasn't a discussion of morality so much and what makes a human and all of that. It was like the ego of man reaches far beyond what he should do. And that's what Frankenstein represented, was he was so mad with power. You see it. It's a great line in the first movie. After he brings the creature to life, he shouts, "Now I know what it's like to be a god." That was such a good representation of this character. And that's what he was supposed to be, and that was the moral of the book. That is not remotely what people take away from Frankenstein anymore. It's become much more about morality. It becomes more philosophical on the side of, like, who's at fault and stuff. And it's like, the monster was a villain, but so was Frankenstein, and that was fine in the original. Now I feel like we have to say the creature is a victim, and that's not the point of the story.
Right.
And I feel like we got really distracted and sidetracked trying to make a completely different point than the original source material. Is that bad? Were we making a bad point? No, but it's not a faithful adaptation.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so that became frustrating in some ways for me, because I felt like we were saying something very watered down in comparison. I felt like the character arcs were very oversimplified. Like, in the original Frankenstein, Frankenstein's father wasn't abusive. He had a good childhood other than the fact that his mother died when he was somewhat young.
Right.
And that somewhat spurred him on to try to be a doctor and save people's lives. But it wasn't making him drink milk all day, every day. If you caught that in this fucking movie. Did you notice?
No.
Did you notice? He drank milk every fucking scene. He goes to pick up the dynamite and the guns and shit and goes, "And give me 6 milks." He's got mommy issues. I get it. Stop. Stop.
Listen, he missed that sweet breast milk, man.
It was so dumbed down. There was no nuance to this version, is what I'm trying to say. There's no subtlety. Subtlety be damned. We needed to, like, oh, he keeps calling it. It's an it. Every time he said it, he had to, like, shout it. And I'm like,
He's heard it. It's his.
Stop. There was absolutely no subtlety. And I think that's the whole thing of, like, the original Frankenstein, the creature is sympathetic not because it's not evil. It is evil, but it doesn't know any better, and it didn't ask to be alive. That's why it's sympathetic. And then Frankenstein is just evil because of his ego. We had to dumb it down and simplify it to be like, no, the creature's sympathetic because it's not his fault and he's not actually bad in any way. Let him be evil. Because his evil is the direct result of the evil by Frankenstein. It's his fault still. He's still the villain, but he's allowed to be evil too. Why are we simplifying it so much by going, no, he's the bad guy? Do you get it? He's the bad guy.
Hey, listen, the creature didn't ask to be alive in this world, all right? And now, at least in this adaptation, he can't die.
Which is so stupid.
So now he's just going to have to live.
What's the point of
permanently.
life if you can't die?
Is to survive. You heard him at the end.
Okay, well, we really need to get into spoilers, so what I'm going to say is I'm going to double back and say acting was great, even if I thought some of the casting should have been slightly different, but it's not a major complaint. Gotta say, thank God Elordi did this role, because I don't know if you knew, but originally Andrew Garfield was supposed to play the creature, and I cannot imagine that. After having seen Elordi do it, I cannot see anybody else but him do it. He was phenomenal at it. Really good at it.
Would have been interesting.
Directing was very good. Scenery, everything was really good. For me, it just was the writing was very disappointing for me. How about you?
It definitely helps that I didn't review as much of the adaptation ahead of time. But I did enjoy the rest of this. Looked great.
Sure, yeah.
I thought the acting was pretty good. I didn't mind the casting at all.
No.
The Garfield thing would have been very interesting,
Yeah.
but I am a fan of what Jacob Elordi did here. I'm sure if I went back and really studied the source material, there's going to be some things that make me more annoyed, but I don't know if I can bring the score down to the other movies we've seen today. Like, I feel like this kind of has to be a 6.5 to a 7, just because those other ones were like 6s, maybe 6.5.
I think I gave everything a 6.5 today.
I know I did the first movie, and then I was thinking about it for the second one, but the ending.
Yeah, that ending
down
pissed
to
you
a
off
6.
so much. And you might be right. I might bring that down to a 6 too.
So I don't know. I feel like this has to be the 7.
I think it's definitely the changes upset me more because of the amount of research I did.
Yeah, I definitely meant to. And I wasn't going to reread the book, but I was definitely going to spark notes it beforehand, and I just didn't get a chance before I left.
Yeah. You know what, doing all of the research I did was I realized that most of the discourse I've heard about Frankenstein in my life was done by people who have not read the book. Clearly.
Yeah,
Because
most people
I've heard...
just seen regular adaptations of it, not the actual book.
I saw tweets this week saying what the meaning of Frankenstein was all about, and then I read the book and went, y'all haven't read it. Like, I saw this one lady tweet about how Frankenstein was written by Mary Shelley about what it's like to be a woman. I'm like, no, I don't think being a woman is about going on murderous rampages.
I feel like I had heard that once.
It's not, though. She wrote the book after her baby died, and she wrote it about wanting to bring it back to life, but knowing that that's impossible and it would be evil to do and cruel to do. That's so much deeper than anything else anybody's trying to say. And then, of course, it was used as a anti-science because there was a huge science panic. There always is at the time. Very comparable to what's going on right now, where it's just like, don't trust it. Whatever it is, don't trust it, which I get that. I do get that. Humans hate change. Yeah, I feel like I am going to stick with a 6.5.
That's fair.
Maybe as time goes on, I will lighten up, because there is a lot to like about it, but I did really get frustrated with some of the writing that isn't even adaptation stuff. Like I said, the commentary with like the milk and shit, give me a fucking break. Add some nuance, please.
I'm glad that one went over my head.
It's every fucking scene, and they force it into your face. I'm shocked you didn't see it. Like, he's having a discussion with Mia Goth, Elizabeth, at the table, and as she's talking, he's leaning on the table like this, and he sticks out his hand, and the waiter comes over and brings him more milk, and he's like, yes, okay. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then to have the same actress play his mom and then the woman that he's interested in.
So I didn't know that till now, but like, okay, so like I definitely see that he's drinking milk a lot, but like I definitely didn't make the connection that, he's drinking milk thinking of the mommy milkers.
He is. That's the amount of subtlety this movie has. But apparently it was subtle enough that I definitely think people are talking about it, but I don't think people realize why it's there.
Yeah.
People are like, what's with the milk? But it's like, think about it. Why do you think he's drinking milk? He has mommy issues, clearly. That's like, yeah. God. Man, I went for the 666 today in my ratings.
Hey.
That's a interesting day.
Yeah. Good luck on your way home.
Maybe I'll get struck by lightning.
You lie in bed, you look up, just something crawling on the ceiling.
With a really long neck.
Yeah, yeah.
Could be Jacob Elordi, could be something else, you don't know.
You're gonna see someone in the corner with these really screwed up long arms.
Yeah, like I said, maybe I'll get over it and I'll bump it up to a 7, because there is a lot to like about it. I like the reimagining of it. I like the look of Frankenstein. It was different, but it was still paying homage to what came before. He also kind of reminded me of Tommy Wiseau. Wonder if that was on purpose.
You did kind of
Yeah, no, so there is a lot to like. I do think people should watch it. I recommend it, especially, with Netflix movies. Like we said last time we did this, I paid once for both of these movies. So that's how cheap it is. Do it. You watch 30 seconds and then of ads and you're done. So, yeah.
Listen, do yourself a favor. Stick to the correct order. Adaptation first, then source material. It's how you stay less pissed.
Yeah, well, what I did was I just too much Frankenstein today. Because reading and 2 movies is a lot of Frankenstein.
That's a lot in one day.
And
I didn't know you were reading it too. I figured you might check out a synopsis of the book, but
I didn't read the whole thing. I read as much as I could and then transitioned to Spark Notes. And when I wasn't satisfied with the Spark Notes, I went to Wikipedia and read the synopsis as well. Because I was like, I feel like the Spark Notes is leaving some stuff out. And it was. It didn't mention the blind guy at all. And I'm like, that's kind of important. How did you not mention that?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so I read the synopsis as well. But even if it's non-adaptation stuff, though, there is genuine critiques in the writing. Like, the science of this movie, the science in all Frankenstein movies is silly, but it's the most mumbo-jumbo I've ever heard in my life with the shit they start saying. And then him becoming Wolverine is silly. He's a superhero for no reason. They rely too much on action when it should be more subtle. This movie just lacks subtlety across the board. There's no nuance. That's frustrating for me. Anyway, I was saying watch it, and I'm still saying it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a check out, especially if you already have Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, I don't think this is making my top 25 list. I'll put it that way.
25?
I don't think it is.
25?
There's been a lot of good movies this year.
Damn.
There have.
25?
If you're getting a 6, if you're not getting a 7, you're probably not making the list. There's been a lot of good movies this year.
Damn.
I'll let you look at the list later. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We are going to get into more spoilers now. So if you don't want anything spoiled, you should click away. Go watch it on your TV, phone, tablet, whatever. Come back and we can talk about it then. But don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, all that. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. So let me pull out my notes because I wrote some stuff more succinctly here than I was trying to say. By insisting on the humanization of the creature to make the point that Frankenstein is the true villain, you cheapen the plot. There's more nuance in a story if you allow the creature and Frankenstein to both be evil. That makes it more complex and harder to decipher, which is a good thing. All of the creature's kills are due to Frankenstein. That's why he's the villain. His vanity and his ego lead him to perform experiments no man should ever do, and therefore making him responsible. By making the creature not also evil, you therefore make Frankenstein's only crime his treatment of the creature. It becomes a very different message. It becomes about an abusive father angle, which is what they go for. Yeah. And so the only thing Frankenstein does that's directly evil in this, according to this, is mistreating one person. Whereas in the original story, he becomes responsible for countless murders. Well, not countless, it's like 6. But he becomes responsible for every murder that the creature commits.
Right.
But in this, the creature doesn't murder anybody. It's self-defense or accident every time. In the original book, he kills Elizabeth because he asked Frankenstein for a wife and he refused. So he murders his wife and says, see, now, fuck you, you don't get one either. And then he also... Oh, the battery's dying. Shit. BRB. He kills Frankenstein's best friend in the book. He kills Frankenstein's brother, his 6-year-old brother, he kills in the book just to fuck with Frankenstein. Just because he's mad at Frankenstein, he goes, all right, you're going to be mean to me, I'll be mean to you. Your brother's dead. Your 6-year-old brother that couldn't harm a fly, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah, that does radically change some things.
Yes! It cheapens everything when you take away that aspect of this character and just make him like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I do the wrong thing? Am I not good enough? Am I not worthy of being alive? And it's like, what? No! Frankenstein made something truly evil. That's the point. Therefore, he's evil because he did it. He's responsible for every kill. Now in this, he's responsible for abusing somebody, and he's also responsible for accidentally shooting his brother's fiancée, but it was an accident for him to shoot him. He was trying to shoot Frankenstein. Creature, sorry.
Right.
He wasn't trying to, like, neither one of them were supposedly bad people by the end of this. I'm like, so what's the point?
Well, I mean, I still say Victor is clearly the bad person in this movie.
But he apologized, Justin. He's not evil anymore. He said sorry.
They got their final little, say my name like he used to say it back when it meant
so weird. Victor. Which it was so weird in this for the creature. In the book, he's fully eloquent the moment he's born. Yeah. And then in the most common version of the movie version, he's just unable to talk and just go, whoa. And in this, they went, what if he was eloquent but took a while to get there? And I'm like,
listen, he needed a good father to become eloquent. Or, at least to spy on that family.
He needs a blind man to teach him how to read some fucking how. Riddle me this, Batman! How the fuck does a blind person teach you how to read?
I gotcha. See, back in those days, there's not many libraries around, right? You only own so many books.
Right.
His eyesight wasn't always bad. It failed him, as he said, He read the books so many times, he just knows what they say, word for word.
So right? That first letter, it should look like a big tree. That's called a T, my guy. That's a T.
T for tree, yeah.
Speaking of lack of nuance, by the way, he puts him up on the table, which isn't a table, it's a cross, and he goes, it is finished. What the fuck are we doing, Guillermo? That ain't in the book. That ain't in the other movies. Why are you making him into Jesus? What the fuck was the point of that? He said it is finished, but he put him up on a cross.
It was finished.
What the fuck are we doing? No nuance, no subtlety, just stupid shit. Let's see what else are in my notes. Oh, dude, that scene in the confessional, was that not just the worst scene you saw today before the scene in the trunk?
I'm trying to think. I feel like I've seen that scene in so many.
It was so fucking bad.
You know what that reminded me of? I don't know if you ever seen it. It's a TV show, but there was a TV show I loved back in the day called Psych.
I was just about to say Psych, yeah.
Oh my god! Yo, I can just picture Sean in the confessional taking the confession from Juliet. I look at him with lust, hatred.
It was so bad. It was so poorly written.
I was dying.
Also, what was with... There was the rant... So, okay, there's a scene... There's such a weird, pointless scene. So, Christoph Waltz's character is talking to Frankenstein. And they're like, we should work together. And like, yes, we should. Maybe. Oh, who knows? And then they're like, all right, talk later. The very next scene is Christoph Waltz inexplicably painting a naked woman. And then Frankenstein walks in and they go, hey, let's talk about working together. All right, nude lady, you can leave. Literally, they just wrote that in there to show off some nude lady. I'm like, what was the point of that? That was just really poorly done.
The man's into his artistic pursuits, okay?
Yeah. Guillermo just needed to show off a thick bitch. It's like, just in case you were wondering what my type is, I like them thick.
We gotta keep the audience engaged, okay? You think they're gonna stay just engaged for Frankenstein? Frankenstein?
You know, in the 1931 film, the creature comes to life around minute 11. This one takes about an hour. We didn't need that.
We gotta set up all these aged up characters and all these.
We didn't need all the fucking backstory, dude. Because that's where it comes in. We're like, I'm becoming my father. And then the creature becomes Frankenstein. So it's like, see, you just become the person who raised you. Because they're all mirror images of each other. I'm like, why? Why are we doing that? That's not the point.
It doesn't seem like the point. I will say, from reading the synopsis again, and this is just me catching a Wikipedia synopsis of the book, as evil as the monster is, very clearly evil, I don't think a lot of this couldn't have been spun into that. I think they just needed a couple of murders from
That's what I'm saying.
the monster.
It was very close. There was some intent missing there.
Because, like, from what I'm looking at, like, all right, he flees pretty quickly. Because I don't know how much confrontation they have at the beginning. There's definitely not the whole burning down of the tower thing, I don't believe.
Yeah.
With the monster. But, like, the monster goes and is with the blind guy for a while. And when he's with the blind guy, he's perfectly fine because the blind guy is nice to him and not afraid of him and such.
Yeah.
When the family comes back and chases him off, and I don't think they shoot him, but tries to hurt him and definitely does hurt him and scares him away, he starts to turn on humanity there. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. The evil of humanity somewhat kind of creates the monster. Or the lack of understanding.
To a degree, but like
he definitely takes it beyond where he stops caring about humanity and doesn't feel anything towards killing us. But it makes you kind of feel like, had he been raised sort of differently,
sure,
he could have been different.
Which is also a fun thing that the original, so the 1931 movie also, frankly, frustrated me a lot watching that today, because it was great until the ending, which I found out was a reshoot. Yay.
Curious.
So that movie taps really well into the simplicity of the creature, in that he is evil, but he doesn't mean to be. He just doesn't know any better. Like, he's playing with a little girl and then drowns her because he doesn't realize, which, by the way, for 1931, fucking crazy. Okay. There's a scene where he tosses the girl into they're like playing with flowers, throwing them into the water and watching them float. So then he runs out of flowers and goes, all right, and picks her up and throws her in thinking she'll float too, and she drowns. And then the next time, like, he then realizes what happened and so runs away. Her dad finds her and carries her lifeless body through town. And I was just like, this is a 1931 movie. What the fuck are we showing right now? That was a crazy scene. Best scene in the movie. But, like, that shows, sure, they made him more sympathetic than he was in the book, but they still showed him kill some people, you know? And he killed people not out of self-defense. He just killed people.
In cold blood, yeah.
But then that movie, how it was supposed to end, was so that you talked about the burning tower. They're in, like, a mill. Or whatever it is. Frankenstein gets thrown out of the window and lands. This happens in the movie still. And then the building burns down with the creature in it. And it fades to black. Mm-hmm. But we know the creature doesn't die because we get a bunch of sequels.
Yeah.
And then Frankenstein doesn't die either because we have one extra shot that we've snuck in there, which it wasn't even the actor. They got a different guy and put him on a bed all the way in the back and said, yep, see, he's getting better every day. And it's like, holy shit. Because test audiences thought it was too depressing if he died. Hey, test audiences of 1930, do you not fucking realize he's the bad guy? And that's why it's like, I kind of feel, I understand Guillermo del Toro here, where he was like, I need to telecast the audience that Frankenstein is the bad guy, because apparently it's lost on a lot of people. They see the creature and just assume he's the bad guy, but it's like, how do you watch the first, even the 1931 movie has very little subtlety.
Yeah.
And he's, like I said, he has the line about, like, now I am a god. And he's like, I am mad with power. And he's constantly just doing evil shit and acting like a mad scientist. And people went, isn't he so lovely? I'm like, are you stupid? So I get Del Toro, when it's like, you can never be too dumb for an audience. Audiences are so stupid. But I was begging for just an ounce of nuance, my dude. There was none. There was none.
Hey, listen, man. The people connect with the struggle to become God, okay?
That was actually true. The first day of filming of my first movie, when I said cut, I then turned to the crew and said, now I am a god! That's exactly what happened, actually. I also say that, he never says this, I say that every time I stop recording after a podcast. It's the first thing I say is, now I am a god! Anyway.
He'll get me doing it soon, but you won't see it. Outtakes.
Yeah, I have so much blackmail footage of it. Yeah, no, it's just frustrating when it's like, there's so much extra depth and layers to a character who is murdering in cold blood because he's mad, because he's envious, because he's frustrated. Like, that's what the creature did. He killed his brother just to be like, hey, fuck you. And he killed his wife or fiance just to be like, hey, well, you won't help me. I'm going to make you feel pain too. Killed his friend, blamed another person, got them killed.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he fucked shit up. And then he learned his lesson because he was growing up and, you know, becoming a human in a lot of ways. And so he felt remorse, which is cool and all, but he's sympathetic not because he didn't do anything wrong. He did a ton of shit wrong. He's sympathetic because he didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, and Frankenstein's just fucking evil. And you don't need to be like, well, really, he's doing it because of his mom and his father. We don't need that. And then to say, oh, well, the creature is doing what he's doing because he's just like his father. Because Frankenstein is going like, I am an abusive father because my father was abusive, and I'm pining for a woman because I lack a woman. And then the creature is going, well, I'm being abused because that's what Frankenstein happened, and I'm obsessed with one woman because he was obsessed with one woman. And it's like, we don't need all of this symmetry. I get it. We don't need to mirror everything. They can be two different characters. We don't need to make them identical.
Hey, she was nice to him.
Great. Awesome. And you can get into the loneliness. The original creature was lonely and wanted a wife.
Yeah, makes sense.
But like, okay, but Frankenstein wasn't that way. So they, like, swapped characteristics in a lot of ways and just went, oh, you've got that trait? I want that trait. And then he's like, well, I like that trait. Let me get that trait. And it's like, stop it. You're two different characters. Leave it alone.
I got it. Frankenstein is just the monster without the patchwork.
So deep. Also, did you know the Muffin Man? No, did you know in the 1931 film, they invented the character of the hunchback sidekick?
Oh, gosh.
He's not in any previous version.
I didn't know that's where it was from, but...
And guess what his name was? Fritz.
Fritz, okay.
In the second Frankenstein, which I believe is the Bride of Frankenstein, Bela Lugosi plays a villain named Igor, with a Y instead of an I.
Yeah.
Who is not the hunchback guy. He's got a problem with his neck or some shit.
Okay.
And for some reason, pop culture just got those wires crossed.
Yeah, I definitely know Igor as the hunchback guy.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, Frankenstein's name in the 1931 movie is Henry instead of Victor because they thought Victor was too abrasive sounding and they need something friendlier. Which also, I go, why? He's the bad guy.
Did they just swap the brothers' names?
I guess so, yeah. I forgot that. Well, no. Is Henry the brother?
I thought Henry was the brother, and then Victor...
I thought William was the brother.
Is it William? Shit.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I might be wrong then. Oh, the friend's Henry.
That's what they did. They swapped his name with the friend. The friend wasn't in this movie at all, so couldn't be murdered. Which, that was such a fun, nuanced thing about the book, too, is so, like... Everything that drove Frankenstein in the book was he was a man of science. He wanted to be great too, but it was like, I want to progress science. I want to be the reason science evolves and makes the next step. And then his friend Henry was a very emotional, compassionate, warm character. They were complete opposites and added humanity to each other. And then that's why the creature killing him mattered so much. And then we're just like, let's just get rid of that character entirely, shall we? And then we'll oversimplify while simultaneously complicating Frankenstein as a character by just adding character traits that are nothing like they're supposed to be.
This doesn't help this movie score at all.
No, it doesn't, does it? This is why I'm saying it's so frustrating where I'm like, if you think about it completely isolated, it's still not a great movie, but it's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
But then when you compare it to the source material, which I'm trying to not let it affect my rating too much. Because if I really was going to...
It's an adaptation. It kind of just has to.
Yeah, but if I was totally doing it, I would give this movie a 4. So I eliminate some of that and go like, okay, it's doing its own take, and just because it's completely changing certain elements doesn't mean it's outright bad. when Del Toro did his Pinocchio adaptation and he turned it into a socialism commentary, I went, what the fuck are we doing? This one I go, okay, I see the vision.
Yeah.
I disagree with the choice to do it, but I see what we're doing. The Pinocchio one made no fucking sense, and I hate that movie because I'm just like, why are we making this about Nazis and shit? I don't know what we're doing. I forget if it was Nazis or Russians or whoever they were talking about, but I just remember this is a war movie and it's Pinocchio. Why?
I've never been more interested in the Pinocchio movie.
And so this movie, I much less hate the changes, but I do think they fundamentally cheapen the story.
Yeah, they definitely do. Which is why people when we remind you the proper order: adaptation, then source material.
Only if you just don't want to be disappointed.
No, that's the only way to keep yourself not just furiously pissed off at the adaptation. I know from experience. Percy Jackson and Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, God. It was cool to see certain elements that I had never seen before in film with the whole Frankenstein thing. Like the North Pole, or as they call it, the furthest north. For some reason, they call it that. Like, where else could that be? It was cool to see that element. I would not have chosen to make the movie as action-packed as it was, but it was still entertaining in how it was done, so I can't really complain about certain elements like that.
I feel like it makes some sense for how they were doing it in the Arctic scenes.
Yeah.
A lot of the other action probably didn't need to be there as much.
Blowing up the tower was a choice.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. What a way to take out the creature.
Yeah, I also loved how he randomly had one handcuff on his ankle when he had never had that the rest of the movie, but the one time he needs to get away quickly, there's one chain on his ankle.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit! Like,
just
that
this
wasn't...
random one.
Yeah. The whole transition from being celebratory that he made him to then wanting to kill him, the flow of it was weird because it's been done multiple different ways. If you look at 1931, he's stoked he's alive. Then he finds out we put the wrong brain in him and he goes, oh no. Actually, I think he kills somebody first and yeah, he kills Fritz, and he goes like, damn, why did that happen? And then he's like, we put the wrong brain in him. Like, fuck. We need to kill this monster because there's the wrong brain. There's a logical series of events here.
Yeah.
In the book, he creates the creature, and once it comes to life, he goes, oh, this is wrong. I don't like this. And immediately he doesn't like it. It's like uncanny valley. He's like, it's alive, but not really. I don't want anything to do with this. We should put it to death.
Yeah.
In this one, he brings it to life, and he's like, haha, I'm so awesome. Look at this creature. I'm the fucking best. Or I'm going to chain it in the basement. Or I'm going to teach it some stuff. Shit, it's not learning fast enough. I should just blow up the whole building and kill it. I'm like, how did we get here? How did we get here? That just feels like it either had to happen immediately, like in the book, or there needed to be something to happen to lead to that point. Because it just didn't.
He seemed alright with the creature up until...
Was he jealous?
Elizabeth and
Yeah.
his brother visited. And I guess it was with Elizabeth, because Elizabeth finds the creature, confronts him on it,
Yeah.
and isn't stoked on it like he kind of thinks she's going to be.
Yeah.
Like he seems to
I also
think that
feel
she's going to fall in love with him for this decision, or for this creation.
And then she's
more interested in the monster.
not in a
than him.
romantic way. I heard a lot of people say that. I didn't get that vibe at all. I didn't think she was in love with the creature.
I kind of got that at the end. I didn't get that beforehand, but when she was having him carry her away to be gazed upon by him while she's dying.
Oh, she was just dying. She was being dramatic.
Yeah. But that felt like
No, I don't think so.
that felt like a lover's dramatic thing.
I took it more as I was saying, it reminded me more of Frankenstein's relationship with his mother. That's kind of how I was it's just the one woman that gave him kindness.
I felt more like that in the scenes in the tower.
Sure.
Where maybe Frankenstein had some different feelings about it, but she just seemed like, oh, this is, one of God's creatures or whatever.
Yeah.
And I need to take care of him and show him kindness. Later on, it kind of... I didn't completely get that she was really trying to get the Frankenstein monster dick, but
No.
it did kind of feel that way after she got shot.
I thought she was just fine dramatically. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So it could just be, regardless, a jealousy thing on Frankenstein's part, where he's like, she likes him more than me now.
I'm trying to think. Like, she goes down, and then... Yeah, she goes down.
She did?
she goes down.
I missed that scene somehow.
She goes down to see the creature, right? She comes up to confront him. They go down to see the creature. Mm-hmm. And then, like, the brother's whatever. He doesn't really care. Or it's not...
He's stoked but scared.
Yeah, because, like, the brother, he thinks he's accomplished his goal, but now he's brought someone from the dead, and it's called mysterious. And whatever. She's...
terrifying looking.
She's more pissed at this.
Yeah.
And, like, the treatment of it, how scared it is. I really think it's after that he starts to feel that it's more of a failure, because it's not, I guess, as impressive to them.
As he wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But, like, I felt like it happened too quickly. Like,
it did, because it all feels like the same day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, he doesn't learn anything in, like, this couple of weeks that we've been going, and now that you guys have seen that he's not, you know, a genius already, I guess he's a failure now.
Yeah, I didn't buy
Instead
that.
of just trying. Like, it's like, couldn't remember how it was in other adaptations. But I immediately thought, oh, new life, kind of kid-like in the world. You gotta raise him up and teach him.
Right.
And it seemed to be where they were going to go, and it eventually did
go there.
become the
Like,
answer.
this is what happens when you have a good dad.
Yeah.
See? You know.
But, I guess Victor didn't care for that after,
No.
she showed up. Because it was just like, it just seemed like her interest in the monster just kind of cemented that the monster had to die now.
Yeah, which I just
It's a little it's a little fast.
I hated the love triangle aspect. It was so unneeded. It added nothing. Having his brother be an adult added nothing. And it was like I said, or alluded to, the creature killing the baby brother was such a big moment in the book. And then in this, he's not a baby, so it means less. And he just smacks him, which makes him hit his head and, I guess, die. We didn't see any fallout from that, but I'm assuming he died because his blood went everywhere. And it's like, but it wasn't intentional. He just went, wah, and then ran away.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Like, he was supposed to, in cold blood, murder that little kid. That's huge. And we just didn't do that.
That's not the story he wants, you know?
It is the story I want.
It's a story of fathers now.
Why? That's not the point. It's supposed to be science is scary. Yeah. And people's ego is terrifying. That's what's horrifying about it.
To all my Game of Thrones fans out there, the lesson of the story is Tywin Lannister might not be a great father.
Shocker. Who could have suspected? Yeah, it was an oversimplification while also muddling the pot with complications. It's somehow dumber and more complicated than it was supposed to be. But it looked great.
Yeah,
it looked really good.
It really did look great.
And all I could think about, because, like, so a while ago, Del Toro said, it's probably never going to happen, but I would love to make a Phantom of the Opera adaptation. And the Phantom of the Opera is maybe my favorite story ever told, ever written. I love that story. And the entire time I'm watching this movie, I'm just imagining this imagery quality on the Phantom of the Opera, and I'm getting so excited. I'm like, I know you said it's probably not going to happen, but please, for the love of God, Del Toro, I need you to make this, because all I have right now is that goddamn Schumacher film with fucking Gerard Butler as the Phantom. Please remake this with somebody who can fucking sing. Jesus Christ. I don't know how much you know about the Phantom of the Opera.
I've seen it once or twice.
The actual thing or the movie?
Movie.
Oh, God. Del Toro, sir, please make this movie. I know you won't, but please do. And please cast a motherfucker who can sing in the role of the Phantom.
But wait.
Thank you.
Don't just make it. You gotta make it authentic, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, not authentic, but you gotta make it fall. He can't make too many changes.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
This,
Don't make as many changes, please. Please don't change the meaning. I don't know what you would change the meaning of the Phantom to, but please don't change it to something about, like, family and fatherhood and shit. Or fucking Nazis. Like, please just make it about the original story. Please.
Nazi Phantoms of the Opera. Come on. Listen.
He doesn't actually murder people. He just goes up into the fucking balcony and starts Nazi saluting. And they're like, who is that? That's the Phantom. That's his thing.
we don't know why he does it. We can't really stop him.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say it, but it's happened twice today where we just had 2 movies that were flawless. Actually, let's say 3 movies that were flawless outside of the script. 3 for 3 today.
Damn.
That the movie was phenomenally made. The writing just kind of sucked a little bit.
Yeah. And with these adaptations, inevitably, there's no reviewing these movies on their own merits if you know the source material.
Yeah.
There's just none of that. I can enjoy the Harry Potter movies and not feel any way about the books because I never read the books. People tell me the books are better. You've told me a lot of the movies were better than the books. I don't know either way.
The first 4 movies are definitely better than the books. And it kind of flip-flops.
Honestly, I feel like those are the ones that I feel like a lot of the Harry Potter book readers have told me are the better ones.
They are, but the movies are very good at first and then get bad a lot faster than the books did.
So, I just feel like you have the source material knowledge. It's hard. It's impossible to keep it out your head.
Yeah.
And this had some really big changes. But for the story it told, I don't think it was a bad story. I feel like we've seen a lot of it before outside of,
Sure.
the next generation son being an unkillable patchwork monster. Outside of that, I feel like
I've seen that a few times.
Seen the story of, abusive parenting, breeding,
the sons of the father.
conflicts. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I was saying is like, if I was reviewing it purely as an adaptation, I'm giving it a 4 because it's legitimately a bad adaptation.
I can see that.
I'm being as kind as I can and giving it a 6 because if you don't compare it to the book or the other adaptations, it does some stuff very well. But still, even if you're not comparing the writing is very silly and just like. I gotta ask, because I skimmed over it, but the process of bringing people to life did not make any fucking sense in this. So he gives the first demonstration, and he's got these little magical nodes, right? And he plugs them in, and it brings the guy to life. And they go, oh, it's just a trick. And he goes, no, it's actual consciousness. Here, catch this.
Yeah.
So he brought a amalgamation already. It's not a full body. It's just torso and one arm.
It was like the torso of one guy and his head and the arm of another person.
Yeah.
The arm was like very specifically from someone else.
Right. So he does that. And it's like, see, you plug this in, brings him to life. That's the only step is plug this in, bring to life. And you're like, okay. So he's harnessed his own thing. He doesn't need I guess there's electricity, but he doesn't need the lightning. Okay, you just plug and play.
Yeah.
And then later, he's like, all right, well, now I need to do it with a full body model. This is tougher. And so he's messing around with the nodes and he can't get it. He's like, damn, I'm a failure. It's like, well, you already did it before. What's different this time? And then Elizabeth shows up and goes like, it's the beauty of God's design, the symmetry. And he goes, symmetry! Now it works! What? You just switched where 2 plugs were, and now the nodes do work.
They weren't symmetrical before. He put it right over the nodes.
He had the plus and the minus on the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's like, all right, well, I did that, but that was one solid person that I filleted. Now I need to do the amalgamation of all these other pieces.
Yeah.
This is even tougher. I need to Iron Man this motherfucker. Put the node on his chest instead for some reason, and then I need to raise him into the sky to get struck by lightning? When did the lightning come into play, and what does that have to do with anything? You got the nodes this whole time. The nodes were the magic mumbo-jumbo that were the essence of life.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, we're saying he had the nodes in the first demonstration, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, I think he was saying it was like the electrical pulses from the nervous system that were providing the energy for the original body, but that's also why it lasted for just a short time. Because they were saying he had to wrap up that presentation, not really because he was done speaking, mostly because he was kind of out of power at that point.
Okay.
So I think that was their kind of attempt at the explanation. Is like, you're using this, now you've got to step it up to a bigger power source.
It was science fiction mumbo
He had some
jumbo.
other suggestion, and then I guess that became lightning later.
It was silly, and
Yeah.
it was stupid, and I didn't understand it.
They
Because, like, literally, the original version... I mean, not the book. The book literally doesn't explain how he does it at all, which is fine. It was the 1800s.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to do it either. It was science fiction, and they just went, he did something. But then in the movie, they went, what could we do? We know electricity brings people back to life. Let's do that. And so they did that, and that was fine.
Yeah.
What are with these magic nodes? And then, like, but what if we made them even bigger? Big nodes.
That was because they still incorporated the lightning.
Yeah.
Because and I thought that was going to be,
In place of it.
well, not just in place of it, but more of a plot point later as to why the monster screwed up. Because remember, he had to have these two, was it perfectly silver or was it perfectly steel? One
Silver.
Silver. These
Yeah.
perfectly silver poles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had to be 100% silver. And one on top to catch the lightning from the outside, and then one inside to, I think, spread it to the 4 batteries that were inside there.
I don't know.
That's my assumption, but like
Yeah.
one of them fell and then got bent, and clearly the process was sort of screwed up, but then it still worked anyway, because then that just never came back.
Yeah.
I thought that would be more of a thing. I'm not saying it makes a lot of sense, but I think they tried to give some sort of half-assed explanation in there.
It
As
was...
to, hey,
It was a quarter of an ass
you're-
at best.
It was like, hey, the body only has so much electrical power in it.
Thanks for watching, guys. That's what we had to think. What do you guys think, though? Let us know in the comments below. And, of course, don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Now I know what it feels like to be God.